and welcome to the podcast from Firetop Mountain. I am Alison Cybe, and I am joined today by Stuart, Lloyd, and a well-thumbed copy of Return to Firetop Mountain, the 50th Fighting Fantasy game book. Stuart, say hello.
Hello, it's great to be here.
And it's great to be back at Firetop Mountain for this, the 50th Fighting Fantasy book. I don't know, was it great to be there again?
It was great to relive a few old places you went the first time round. Yeah. So it was yeah.
So yeah, we are quite a way into the series by this point. The 50th of the Fighting Fantasy game books, originally sold with a huge, well, would you say the number 50 on it, the kind of silvery gold text on the cover? It very much sold that it was the 50th book. It had the number just kind of emblazoned over the front. They were very proud of having reached 50.
They were, yes. It was also the 10th anniversary celebration.
That's
as well.
right.
So,
yes.
Yeah. So it was a big milestone. So they wanted to show off their big milestone.
It was 1992. I remember that year specifically. It was my first trip to London, and I got a copy of the book.
Ah, brilliant. Oh yes, I didn't get it till later because 1992. Yes, I'd only been reading game books for 2 years and didn't get it then. I was probably a teenager when I read this one, so it was good to revisit it. But yeah, probably about 1997 or 1996 I got it. So yes.
Yeah, it definitely brings back memories, and I love the cover of this one. What do you think of the cover? I mean, presumably, I don't know. Has this one been reprinted?
It has, and the cover's so good. They did a sort of similar one.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's Zagor over Firetop Mountain, but I think the original is much better because it's got all his monsters rushing out of the mountain.
It does. It's lovely.
Yeah, it's awesome. The wizard one has Zagor sort of gazing sort of sinisterly over Firetop Mountain, but no monsters rushing out at you.
Oh, you need the monsters. Yeah, I think you really need the monsters. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yes. And then there was another one that had it had a monster, but not Zagor coming out of you. So yes. That was the Scholastic one. So yeah, it's been so Puffin did it first, then Wizard, then Scholastic. So yes. But yeah, the original. I prefer the original much better.
And going into this one, what did you remember before you did your playthrough? And of course, I should just clarify for our audiences that me and Stuart have quite a history of playing the Fighting Fantasy game books. We've both been playing them for the vast majority of our childhood and a percentage of our adult lives, haven't we?
Yes, indeed. So yes, it's been fresh in our heads. Yes, it's been over 30 years now for me. So that's pretty good. Good going. Yeah. So what did I remember? I remembered you needed a magnifying glass because for some reason the important clues were in a book with tiny handwriting or tiny writing.
Yes.
Yes. Not that it's very likely you'll get that far. And
is that a slight on my ability to play through these games?
No, it's my ability. I didn't get that far. Not anyone would get that far. So,
I mean that would be true. I have a well-known history of dying quite soon in these books.
Oh yes. Well, yeah. This is definitely one where you can die soon, which is another thing I remember. You're supposed to get golden dragon teeth. That's another thing I remembered.
Yes. Oh, and I said that so loudly it kind of echoed there. The golden dragon teeth. You have to hunt down a fairly large number of them, and when you confront Zagor, the titular warlock of Firetop Mountain, I seem to remember you have to throw the right number of dragon teeth at him.
Yes, and you have to summon the right elemental. So you go through the 4 classic elements of fire, earth, air, and water, and So the book tells you which elemental defeats which elemental, which of your elementals will defeat which of Zagor's elementals, and then you also need to get the dragon teeth to summon the elementals, and and then there's a very long list of items that you could get.
See, I must have got mixed up because I thought that was Legend of Zagor that had the elementals. But having said that, it was a long time since I played that one.
Yes, I'm trying to remember if there are any elementals in Legend of Zagor, because there are a lot of things that go on in Legend of Zagor. He doesn't summon them towards the end, although it might get even more confusing because the Zagor Chronicles, the novelization, when they face Zagor for the final time or the first time, I can't remember which one, but the wizard does summon an earth elemental. So yeah, I don't know if that's a nod to this one. It's but I don't in Legend. I can't remember Legend of Zagor that well either. But I think Zagor gets very annoyed at you because he's been transported to another world, and then you're trying to kill him again, and and then you shouldn't use a flying potion against him in Legend of Zagor. I remember that. But yes,
so this one. Do you think they had planned that they were going to do Legend of Zagor when this one came out?
I don't think so. So it's 4 books later.
It really is just 4 books later, and then Zagor comes back again for the third time, which was very strange because it was definitely a tie-in for the board game. There was at the time a Legend of Zagor board game where you would play the role of an adventurer moving around a 3D board. It was kind of like a little mock-up 3D board with miniatures, and it did have a rather corny voice chip which would tell you what to do, where to move, and so on. And they did a game book based on it later in the series, only 4 books later. And it did feel quite strange that Zagor had taken 10 years and 50 books to return. You fight your way back, returning to Firetop Mountain to kill him, and only have to then pop back and kill him a few weeks later.
Yes, exactly. It did seem a bit strange. There's lots of, because Zagor seems, because he's being the first sort of evil wizard that you've got to slay, the first villain that you have to slay in Fighting Fantasy. I can see why they brought him back for the 10-year anniversary. So knowing that, you probably would have expected him to be brought back for some other anniversary. But yes, it was 54, and there was a time board game. I remember the TV adverts for that, so that was quite amazing. I can remember that. And yes, there were also some novels around it. They were really pushing this Legend of Zagor thing. So I don't know if they were going for a sort of reboot as well, because it's on a completely different world. So maybe they were trying to sort of do that thing. Maybe when they want to reboot, start a new series somehow, like when. And then they sort of introduce the new world and have their sort of character crossover, like Buffy and Angel, I guess. So Buffy goes and then Angel has a special episode, and then he goes.
You've now got me thinking of Buffy fighting the Warlock of Firetop Mountain.
Oh, that would be awesome! What a crossover!
I do. Do we think that she would do particularly well in this adventure?
There is a vampire. I remember that. So she'd do well against that.
Yeah, she'd have the advantage there.
Yes. She'd probably do well in the final fight. I don't know if she'd be able to get all the teeth and things. So yes.
But you'd need those teeth to win. So maybe Buffy wouldn't stand as much of a chance after all.
Yeah. Yeah, so but there we go.
So yes, let's tell the people of our adventures. So we begin. The stats that you have for your adventurer are fairly typical of the Fighting Fantasy ones. As I found, you have your usual array of luck, stamina, and skill. I did okay. I rolled an 11 for skill and a rather impressive 24 for stamina, so did quite nice. You start out your adventure and are promptly told that rather than just running into his house and stealing his treasure, you actually have a purpose to go out and best the warlock. Because that was your goal in the original one. He was just happily sitting around in the in his volcano lair, not really doing anything. And
He wasn't. No. Yeah. Yes. This is the first book where Zagor does something explicitly evil. And they're kind of trying to retcon it by sort of saying that he was being evil the first time. But yeah, you're right.
Retroactive evilness, really.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So, yes, because yes, you're right. You just walk in and try and steal his stuff and kill him in the first one. And
yeah, clearly you're the bad guy in the original.
Exactly, and so Zagor's right to surround himself by orcs and things, because I expect lots of people. Well, there's a prisoner in the first one who tried to do the same thing, so he must get it all the time. He must have got. I mean, for all we know, he just got driven to being evil by just not being left alone by people trying to kill him.
Well,
I think
in this one he's definitely being a little bit evil, because as your adventure begins, you find that the local villagers around the Firetop Mountain. I don't know. I wouldn't live in a village near somewhere called Firetop Mountain, but apparently there's quite a few villagers, and a lot of them have been going missing. And the wizard is using their body parts to create a whole new body for himself, which is kind of ick. I mean.
Yeah.
You're kind of asking for like trouble if you go and live in a village near Firetop Mountain, don't you think?
I think you are. Yes, it's yes, it's. Maybe they just want cheap houses or something, but and they're willing to take the risk. They're like, oh well, it might get my body used to be turned for a sorcerer, but cheap house. So yeah, but they are asking for trouble. It was a bit silly of them this time. So yeah, and that I was going to try and make some pun about people going to pieces about it, but I don't know. I don't think I can manage it at the moment. So yeah, that's they are asking for trouble.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that the trouble you'd get from somewhere like that would be, the mountain, the Firetop Mountain, erupting with lava and showering your homes with molten magma. But no, it is being abducted and having parts of your body used to create a horrible monster.
Yes.
Yeah.
Swings and roundabouts, I guess. Yeah.
But unfortunately, it's not going to be an easy trek to Firetop Mountain, because the minions of Zagor are quite aware of your quest and have set out ahead to warn their warlock master. And as a result, the first part of your quest is actually journeying to Firetop Mountain.
Yes, I like these bits. They're sort of prelude to it. It sort of lets you wander around a bit and meet a few people. So it's quite nice. Yes. In fact, the first person you meet is someone called Moose, who was actually in the background. He's an innkeeper, and
Moose was awesome.
He was awesome. And unlike most people in a Livingstone book who talk to you, he actually lives. Which is good. I think what he did was, you do a little thing with him, you do a little mission, and then I think he realises he's in an Ian Livingstone game book, and then promptly runs away before he can get killed, which
sensible.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, be more like Moose. Yes, not like Mungo or Mungo, but
poor Mungo. Justice for Mungo.
Yes, exactly. He deserved better, Mungo. But there. Yes. So I listened to Moose. Did you listen to what Moose was saying?
We did. Yes. We spoke to Moose was the innkeeper, I believe, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then
Oh, go on. Yes, tell us how your adventure began.
Well, he told me there were some trackers who were working for Zagor, and we needed to stop them. And so, well, I decided to follow him, and then an Ian Livingstone thing happened. Well, I
An
found a
Ian
shield.
Livingstone thing happened. Yes.
Yes, an Ian Livingstoneism. I'm trying to work out what the right word is. An Ian Livingstone trope, an Ian Livingstoneism, or something. What it's you find loads of random things lying around. So I found a shield in a bush.
I also found the shield.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. That's an Ian Livingstone thing, isn't it? You just find random stuff lying around.
Those were useful because the scouts immediately attacked shortly thereafter, and I was able to deflect their throwing daggers with those shields, which was nice.
Exactly.
Myself and Mungo then made short work of those scouts, and I found something quite interesting then. They were carrying coins marked with the letter Z for Zagor.
Yes, exactly.
Which makes me think that Zagor is perhaps minting his own coins.
He is. Yes, that's what I think as well. And yes, and Moose takes 3 and you take 3. Not that in retrospect I don't know what Moose is going to do with them, but I suppose gold is gold. I suppose people are just going to take a gold coin and not look at it.
What do you think the exchange rate between regular gold coins and Zagor coins is?
Well, I don't know. I think it'll probably go up if you kill Zagor, because then there'll be collector's items if he's dead until he comes back to life. So
4 books.
Yes, exactly. So you should spend them quickly. Spend them on the island of the undead, or
this is reminding me. Have you seen the original Street Fighters film?
Oh yes, with
Bison dollars. Is this what Zagor is doing? Has he made his own currency?
Well, yeah. Maybe he's seen the Street Fighter film. It is magnificent in a way, isn't it? It's
the currency will be whatever he sets it as after he has kidnapped the Queen. Okay, this is now going to be on the thumbnail for the podcast.
Yeah, don't make note of that.
Oh yes. Oh god. So Zagor coins. They probably have a fairly strong exchange rate next to the pound at the moment.
Yes.
Yeah. So we now have 3 Zagor coins and we are rich.
Exactly. Yes. Well, yes, and then I fall foul of another Ian Livingstone-ism, which is you are supposed to investigate everything. Because until the point in which you're not supposed to investigate everything. Because one of the trackers has a piece of paper in their boot, and knowing Ian Livingstone, it might come in handy, but in this case it doesn't because it's cursed.
Mm-hmm.
So I lose 2 skill points, which is a hefty penalty in a fighting fantasy book.
That's absolutely brutal.
Exactly. It's yes. Yeah, so, but there we go. Ian Livingstone hands out these penalties like sweets sometimes.
Why do you think minting his own coins was so high on his priorities?
That is a good point. Maybe. Well, he's come back. I think he wants to treat himself after being dead for 10 years.
But he's not even finished building his new body yet.
That's true. It's
so the first thing he does before he even makes a new body into which to live is to order the minting of his special Zagor coins. He's clearly an economist.
Yes, definitely. He's trying to sort of work out the fundamentals of his society first, and then build himself the body.
Yeah.
So, yes, I guess. Maybe he read something like the Wealth of Nations or something before he died, and decided if I'm just going to start minting my own currency, and then you popped along and killed him. But 10 years later, he's going to fulfill his dream.
Yes. We're doomed. We are absolutely doomed. Oh dear. So yes, we both found the cursed scroll.
Yes. Yeah, took a nasty skill penalty, and then just hopefully find some armor or something to increase the skill later on.
We began to head on towards. Did you take the same route? I can't remember if it was a choice or not, but my route headed through towards Jastromo's tower, which, along with Port Black Sand, was one of the most important and often visited locations in the whole of the Fighting Fantasy universe, as far as I can remember.
Yes, definitely. Yes, because I vaguely remembered going straight to Firetop Mountain was a bad idea. So I went straight to the tower. I went to his tower instead, investigating various things, an Ian Livingstone classic, a man staked to the ground. Did you find the man staked to the ground?
I did.
Yes, I mean, so that's like in he had a man staked to the ground in Forest of Doom, but that man was very angry that you unstaked him. But this man was very helpful. He gave me a ring of invisibility. That was good.
Always good to have a magic ring of invisibility, I think.
Oh yes, definitely, especially in a fighting fantasy book.
Yes.
Unless it's City of Thieves, in which he never used it. I'm just remembering. But there we go. In any other fighting. Yes. And then I also found a random sort of house and looted it for a wooden brick and a wooden ball and an iron key with a number on it. So yes, So my equipment list is getting very big already, and we haven't even got to Jastromo's tower, and it's already full. Your backpack's already getting quite full, which is another Ian Livingstoneism.
That's true. Yeah. How in terms of percentage, how much of the book do you reckon is dedicated to traveling to the tower? Not to the tower, to the Firetop Mountain.
Almost maybe 20%. It's quite a big chunk.
It really is.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that's a thing he sort of picks up on his later books, because in Trial of the Champions you spend quite a hefty chunk of it in an arena and then do the dungeon, and it's the same sort of thing here. You spend a hefty chunk traveling to the mountain, because you've also got to do some sailing as well.
Oh yes, I remember. How did your crew fare?
Well, I think they must be the most unlucky characters, because they are both companions in an Ian Livingstone book and they're on a boat. So they must be the most deadly profession ever. I decided to pick up an orc, and then we got ambushed.
Yes.
Which was not...
that worked out so well.
Yes, and then a few of them died. A die roll worth of them died. So that didn't. Yeah.
So how many died for you?
I think it was 3.
Oh, not bad.
It wasn't enough to ruin the bit later on, which was good.
Oh, well, that's all right for some then.
Oh no, how many died for you?
You know how it was a die roll?
Yes.
6.
Oh.
You want to remember what my luck is like with these books.
That's exactly.
So it didn't do too well. We managed to sink, just a little. But yes, eventually after a little bit of a reset, we eventually got to the tower.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Yes, which eventually, yes. Oh right. Oh yes, you get razorfish if you. Then. Oh, I see. Yes, we eventually get to Jastromo's tower. So yes. So Jastromo's quite helpful in this one, which is good. He doesn't charge you for stuff this time. Got to the tower. And then but there's a problem with Jastromo.
I mean, there's always a problem with Jastromo, let's be fair.
Yes, but but there's a doppelganger going around.
Oh yes, the doppelganger.
Yes. So actually, the doppelganger killed me in my first go, because it's a tricky fight. Because not only do you have to you beat him in a round, but you don't deduct anything from its stamina. You then have to roll a double on 2 dice to kill it.
Yeah, it is a particularly brutal encounter, I found.
Yes. So yes, the doppelganger. Well, because my skill was 10, but then had gone down to 8, the doppelganger beat me in an attack round and rolled a double. So I died there. Yes, because it's an insta kill.
So
nasty.
So we had both died before reaching Firetop Mountain itself.
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
This
is how good the book is.
Restarted.
Yeah, I did 2 restarts.
Yes. So, go on.
Well, the bonus with this book is, you can just sort of go back to where you were, because it's not like an open world as much. So you can just sort of take all the same choices and maybe like do a couple of fights that you did, and then eventually go back to where you were. So yeah, on my second attempt, I defeated the doppelganger, which was good, and I actually got to the mountain that time.
Yes, yeah. I was also able to eventually get to Firetop Mountain itself, but oh goodness, the trek there was just absolutely brutal. Like you said, I also had the run-in with the doppelganger. And when you find the original Nostromo, he's his usual self, grumbles and moans about absolutely everything, which that's kind of how I could tell it's the real him.
Yes, exactly. Yes, he's moaning about people saying the word Zagor. He doesn't like the word Zagor. So,
shh, don't say the word.
No. Well, yes. Yeah, don't. Yes, he who must not be named, or you know who.
Yes. Do we think a certain writer might have stolen the idea?
Possibly.
Yes.
Possibly.
Not pointing any elbows against someone who's particularly known to be quite litigious. So definitely didn't steal the idea for your evil villain warlock wizard person.
Definitely not. No.
Definitely not. No, and in no way are we saying that you would. But they totally did. Totally did.
Exactly.
We got to do a little bit of shopping as well.
Yes, but only because I found a wooden brick to give to a boy, which is and then yes, so yeah, you pick 5 items from a list.
What do you think the kid wanted with that brick?
I think he was playing sort of medieval Lego with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he had some bricks, and then the fact that you gave him an extra brick sort of pleased him a bit, because then he could finish his castle, I guess, or whatever,
or smash some windows in.
Or smash some windows in, yeah. Depending.
You're terrible. So we got to properly gear up before getting to Firetop Mountain. About a fifth of the way through the adventure.
Yes.
I really like this, because it does feel like the trek is just arduous. It feels like it's really part of the adventure, and I think that works very well with the tone and the style that it is quite literally the return to Firetop Mountain.
Yes, exactly. Yes, I don't know if I can put it into words so much, which is bad for a podcast, but I enjoy doing that, like a prequel trek before getting to the dungeon, just because it's like you can explore the world around it, and sort of, and usually if it's an Ian Livingstone book, then you'll need something. It's basically a chance to just collect a bunch of items, and then you use them in the dungeon. So I suppose like a modern version is like this is the bit where you like if James Bond meets Q and then Q gives James Bond all the gear. This is this version of this. It's like the bit before. Yeah, and then the shopping is good because you can pick 5 items from a list of a lot.
What did you get? What did you get?
I got the magnifying glass because I remember that.
I completely forgot the magnifying glass. Completely forgot about that.
That's the main one. And then I got gloves. And then I got gloves, rope. I didn't get a lantern because it said I already had a lantern. So magnifying glass, gloves, rope, mirror, and
Nice.
and then what was the last thing I got? I think it was. I'll just check my thing. It wasn't the. Oh, it was a silver dagger.
I got the silver dagger as well, and I got some garlic.
Ah, yes. Oh,
My working theory was that the warlock was also a vampire.
Ah, that's true.
But we did run into it. I was wrong, but we did run into a vampire.
Yes. Well, yeah, that's like a callback to the first one because there was a vampire in both of them, so it's good to know. It was good to see some old classics appear from the first one, which was good. Yes, so so I don't think I can manage to come across the vampire, but I do know it's there.
So
it might be.
So by that point, you're ready to trek into the mountain itself. And how was your stamina holding up at that point?
It was okay because on my second attempt I had a skill of 12, so it was okay. Because actually, apart from the doppelganger, if you do it right, there aren't that many difficult opponents yet. There'll be plenty more coming on. But yes, it was doing okay. How was yours doing?
I was on 7. I was basically on death's door.
Oh no! And in this book, you don't get provisions.
No, nothing.
You just have to take what you can get. Yes, it's This is another reason why it's tricky. No potions either.
You're just like, I'm ready to take on the warlock. I've got everything I need. Let me just limp, slowly crawl my way towards the mountain. Can I at least rest up first? No.
Yastromo must think the warlock's not as dangerous as Razak, because Yastromo gave you a healing potion with Razak.
Yeah, at this point in the franchise, Yastromo's just like giving himself over to just having as much fun with you as possible. He's just literally trolling you at this point. All of the wizards do this in the fighting fantasy books.
Exactly. He's a master troll. Actually, this would be a good time to point out that in the novelization, the Trolltooth Wars, that's it. It features both Zagor and Yastromo, and I remember feeling a bit indignant because when Cheddar Darkmane and his friend and the Cherva goes to visit Yastromo and say, we need to stop war breaking out, these two wizards are going to start a war and then turn on Salamonis when one of them wins, Yastromo gives them a dagger, a magical dagger, and charges them 40 gold pieces for it. But then, they've just told him they need to save the world and he's charging them money. But Zagor, after a little misunderstanding, he sort of gives Cheddar Darkmane a big box of fire powder and transports him to where he needs to go for free. So there we go. I mean, who's the real bad guy in that situation?
I mean, yeah. Do you think that there's a slight balance issue with this then?
With Yastromo, or
with the so-called good or evil wizards? Because I have my doubts.
Well, yes, exactly. I mean, it's all good and well setting up a nice lair and surrounding yourself with orcs, but then, I mean, it's a bit like you're being a jerk if someone comes to you and says we need to save the world and you charge them for it. That's a bit sort of off, isn't it?
Definitely, 100%.
So yeah, I mean, Zagor might be an evil wizard, but if he sees a friend in need, he doesn't charge them for it. So
Right, so
yes.
we eventually get to Firetop Mountain, and it is a trek, and we do finally get there. And here is one of the things I really like: you get into Firetop Mountain, and you are given the first choice from the very first Fighting Fantasy adventure. Do you turn left or right? And
Yes.
as I worked my way through that, I realised that the layout starts off quite similar.
It does, exactly, yeah. So in the original, turning right led you to a door with a pit. So I turned right, and they you come to like a dead end, which is what would happen in the first one.
Yeah.
And instead of a dead end, well, you get the dead end, but you also get a bottle, which I broke open,
Yep.
and got a brass egg, which was that was it, brass egg, yes, which may or may not come in handy.
Now, how did they fit the egg? Being a brass egg, how did they fit that into a bottle?
That is a good question. I've not thought about that. Unless they couldn't have blown the bottle around the egg, because then it would have been liquid at the time. Yes. Maybe some magic. Maybe they shrunk the egg, or maybe the egg actually has a brass animal in it and was very small when it popped into the bottle. It's that is a mystery that you don't really think about in the book. You just smash the bottle and get the egg.
Well, so I don't know. I spent a good 20 minutes puzzling over that.
That's good. That's true. I never thought about that. What? Yeah. How did the brass?
This is like a little insight into my mind. I paused at this point and just kind of spent about 20 minutes puzzling how you could fit a brass egg into a bottle. Now, I came up with a few ideas for how to fit a normal egg into a bottle.
Well, yes, that's actually a science experiment where you can sort of cool it down and then the air shrinks and sucks the egg through, but that wouldn't work. Maybe there were some tiny pixies and they got into the bottle and then built the egg in the bottle and then got out.
Actually, before we go too far down, I am getting a few messages in the comments telling us to get on with it.
Okay. Yes. Sorry. Yes.
Yes, we are sorry, but this is what you uncover in the Fighting Fantasy series. So before too long, you work your way through the original layout of Firetop Mountain, and then things start to change.
Yes, that's true. There isn't a maze of Zagor in this one, which is good news. Yes, but things do start to change. Things are a bit more grotty for a start.
Yep.
Well, this is where I died the second time, because I did rummage around in the dirt and pull on a chain on one place and found some random items, but then I got killed by some flying weapons, which was real pain. But yes, you sound like you got further than I did.
Well, I did eventually find a chain on one of the walls, I was hoping it wouldn't be an alarm, so I decided to just give it a quick tug, and it opened a secret chamber. I went on inside and managed to find a gold dragon's tooth, just kind of hidden away, immersed in a little container in like a bag, inside immersed in enough acidic goo that it definitely would have ruined my nice leather gloves. But I got one of the gold dragon's teeth.
So yes, so did I. That was good.
Was it the same tooth?
Yes, it had a fire. It had a flame on it. Yes, and actually, I was looking through the forums about this before, and apparently there was supposed to be a number on that tooth.
Oh.
And it wasn't, but in the reprints it was. There was a number on the tooth.
Right, yes. I was confused about that, because I think in the book Nostromo tells you that they have numbers printed in them.
Yes.
So I just kind of thought maybe you would later on in the book find like some kind of code as to like a key to decipher the numbers, the symbols. but I didn't quite get that far. And to be honest, it had been a long time since I played the book before, so yeah, I wasn't too sure. It was
Oh, well, yeah. Well, the miniature book tells you what numbers they are as well, so you don't need to know the number on the tooth. The miniature book tells you which elemental has which number. Well, I suppose you do need the number on the tooth because then you won't know which numbers you've got. But that was supposed to be the fire tooth because of the flame. So, yes,
makes sense. So you got that one as well. So what happened to yourself after that?
Oh, well, the next room had a load of weapons in, and when I went in the room, they floated up in the air and tried to kill me, and I tried to fight them and died. So that was another death. But then I did a reset and sort of got back to that bit.
I didn't think we were meant to do more than one reset.
Oh, I did 3 go. I always do 3 tries and then see. But don't worry, I didn't. I died on the 3rd one as well, so it's okay.
Well, I managed to work my way a little bit further along. Found a few goblins. Made short work of those. And it was not too long before I died as well. But tell me how you what your last fate was.
My last fate was after getting cursed by a curse that only is cured by orcs fleas, I came into a room with a wooden chair, and I remembered from the first book that there was a wooden chair that gave you 2 stamina and 1 skill points if you sat on it. So I thought, maybe this is the chair. Except it wasn't. It was a chair that shrunk me down to the size of a very small wooden figurine.
Makes sense.
Yes.
I got my adventure ended as I stepped into a room full of statues.
Oh.
Each of the statues looked significantly like a warrior, like a formerly brave and noble warrior, with the small exception that their faces were etched with expressions of horror. Oh crap, I said. I'm in a room with a Medusa, aren't I? Because I know what these kind of runes are like. Sure enough, a Medusa comes out and says hello. I have 3 options. I can use garlic, a mirror, or a tin whistle. The book gives me those 3 specific objects. I look through what objects I have in my inventory. I wish I had a mirror.
Oh no, you have the garlic because you bought it, and then
I have the garlic. I throw the garlic at the Medusa. She looks at it as it falls onto the ground and is unimpressed with me.
Oh dear. And then does she look at you?
Yes. It did not end well.
No, it didn't end well. No, there's lots of insta-deaths here. So we both got 1 dragon egg and then died.
Yes.
But yes, it was a pain because there's loads of other things that go on in this book, like
yes, there are so many extra little things and encounters and situations that you can kind of uncover as well. They're not all signposted like you go into a room. Like you will be able to find secret hidden ones as well, which are just so much fun. I enjoy that.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, there's so many things going on. I remember now. I didn't go there, but there was. Did you find the room with the 5 skeletons arguing?
No, I didn't find that. Do tell.
Oh well, that's reminiscent of the 5. There were 5 orcs in a room in the original Firetop Mountain. So it seems like they got resurrected as skeletons and continue arguing. So yeah, there were lots of Easter eggs, brass Easter eggs, I suppose.
Yeah.
With the old lady. But yes, there's lots of hidden rooms. Like I had to chase a goblin who tried to throw a net on me and accidentally came across a sword from a chaos warrior, which I remember comes in handy when you give it to a chaos beast, and the chaos beast sort of likes it because it's a chaos warrior sword.
Do the later editions, the later reprints, still call it a chaos warrior?
I don't know. I haven't seen it. I mean, they could do, because Ian Livingstone owns it, but I do know.
Oh, that's right. He does, doesn't he? Yeah. Because I know in the new version of Hero Quest, which I did back when they did the Indiegogo, and I do have my copy of it now, they do have to rename the Chaos Warriors for intellectual property reasons. So I'm curious as to how that works with the Fighting Fantasy franchise.
It's true. I suppose it's okay because Ian Livingstone was part of Warhammer as well, so I guess he could get away with it. I don't know. I haven't seen. Well, I haven't looked at the later editions. So
let's throw this to the comment section. If you, our listeners, happen to know if the later editions of Return to Firetop Mountain also include the Dread Chaos Warriors, do leave us a comment and let us know in the comment sections of the podcast.
Yes, definitely.
And be sure to like, comment, and subscribe and all that jazz.
Exactly. Yes. So, I've not thought about that, but yeah, there is a Chaos Warrior. Very great picture of the Chaos Warrior with a massive sword and massive horned helmet.
Chaos Warrior says to like, comment, and subscribe, and ring the bell, and put us on your list, and do all the other things that you have to do on social media these days.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, follow us on Instagram or whatever.
Do we have an Instagram?
Possibly. By the time this comes out, maybe. I don't know.
Make a note. Make an Instagram account. We can do that. Follow us on Instagram if we have an Instagram account. Check on Instagram to find out if we ever got around to making one.
Yeah, that's the sequel hook.
Yes. So yes. In summary, how did you enjoy your return to Firetop Mountain?
I did enjoy it. It was a nice nostalgia trip. I liked the pre-journey just because it's like the bit where you gather all the stuff to use. I like how the Firetop Mountain bits of it are like the original, and it's kind of what it would be like if it was fallen into disuse over 10 years, which is dirty and grotty and not full of treasure like the original.
I did love that. I really loved that.
Yeah, it was very good. It was because in the original it's like, oh, you get 20 gold pieces here and 50 gold pieces there with a big gem. But here it was like, no, you scrabble around in the dirt and find a gold piece and an onyx egg, or what it is. There were lots of eggs, and I did. I loved it. I wish I got further. I looked through a bit more. I found some other Easter eggs. There's the Were-Rat boatman. He makes an appearance.
Yeah.
Another vampire, or maybe the same vampire because they sort of regenerate, and then one of your companions, Zoot Zimmer, he gets captured and then helps you in Firetop Mountain and then dies about 2 sections later. So another classic Ian Livingstone companion dies.
Oh, what a terrible, terrible fate. We're always killing our companions.
We are, yes.
It is the cruel fate of any who befriend the hero of Firetop Mountain. Can we call ourselves the hero of Firetop Mountain?
I think we can in this one because you are actually trying to be heroic. But maybe not the first one.
No, we were just like breaking in and stealing his stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Let's give this one a rating, shall we? What would you like to give it?
Ooh, I might. I might give it 4. What are we giving it? 4 golden dragon's teeth.
Oh, I'm gonna go 4.5.
Oh, 4. Oh, wow. Okay.
Gotta go 4.5. We can do 0.5s, can't we?
Yes.
Yes,
we
we
did. We did 0.5s last week, I think.
We did, yes. Yeah. Okay, yeah. 4 and 4.5. That is 8.5, isn't it?
Yeah, that's good.
That is very good. I like that.
Yes.
Yeah, so I would genuinely consider this one a bit of an underrated gem. It feels like a lovely celebration of the series. So if you get the if our listeners, you yourself, you yes, you sitting there listening to this, if you have not played this, go and do it right now. Literally right now. Just pause the podcast, and go out and get a copy of it, and then actually no, and come right back and listen to the rest of it. Listen to the whole thing, because that way we maximize our profits on this. So but do definitely, in fact, after you've listened to this, go out and get a copy of it. And yes, there you go. That is the return of Firetop Mountain. Lovely. What do we have next week?
Oh, next week is Siege of Sardath, the one before Return to Firetop Mountain.
We are moving back in time. Well, we're not really moving back in time. We're moving one book earlier in the series.
Yes.
And I like Siege of Sardath. That is a lovely one. I'm looking forward to that.
Yes. Yeah, it's brilliant. It's very different to Return to Firetop Mountain, but it's got lots of brilliant bits. It's a very tricky book to get your teeth into for different reasons. It's full of puzzles and schemes and things going on. And yes.
So you've got that to look forward to in a week's time on the podcast from Firetop Mountain. I am Alison Cybe. I am a freelance writer in the tabletop roleplay game industry. Check out my work in the roleplay game Shield Maidens. And I've been joined by Stuart Lloyd.
Hello, yes, I'm Stuart Lloyd. I write a blog called Lloyd of Gamebooks about gamebooks.
You do more than that as well. Plug one of your recent things.
My most recent thing is a dystopian near-future cli-fi black comedy gamebook called Rulers of the Now, where you start as a lowly insurance worker and then get declared a terrorist, which is, in most people's eyes, a bad thing.
In most people's eyes, quite a bad thing. But
yes.
Can it work out well for them in the end if you play the game?
It can, yes. If you make the right choices, you can end up surviving in this world, the crazy world of 2041.
Ooh, 2041, the not too distant future.
Exactly.
We might even live to see it if the sun doesn't explode.
Exactly. Well, that's not happened for 5 billion years, but
well,
hopefully
we never know what tomorrow might bring.
Well, exactly.
And with that, I will not end the podcast on what happens if the sun blows up tomorrow. Give us a better ending, please.
This has been the podcast of Firetop Mountain, and thank you for listening. You've been awesome.
Lovely. We will see you all next week. Thank you for joining us. The podcast from Firetop Mountain is brought to you by our Patreon supporters. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe, ring the bell and do all the other things you need to do in order to get another season of the podcast from Firetop Mountain.